Bashar has explained that, as far as he knows, there are 5 hybrid civilizations that have been created by the Greys. The first one created are probably very much more like the Greys. Bashar's civilization was the 3rd hybrid race created, so they're kind of in between us and the Greys in terms of their appearance. And the newest one, the 5th hybrid civilization, which he says are called the Yael, are probably most like us. They may almost look human enough to pass among us, even though they still have hybrid traits. But he has said that the Yael is likely to be the first hybrid civilization we will have contact with. Bashar's race would probably be the 3rd hybrid civilization. Not to say there won't be other extraterrestrial races we might also have contact with. But in terms of these hybrid races that are genetically connected to us, that in a sense are extensions of our family, genetically speaking, he's explained about the Yael, and he's explained about his. He won't talk much about the others yet because he says it's just premature.
I know you good day.
I'm really excited about this.
As are we.
Perfect.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I have a few questions. So,
Yes.
one of my questions is, there are, as you've said, 5 hybrid races.
Yes.
But that you've talked briefly on one of your transmissions about a 6th that doesn't have a necessary civilization because they're the Wanderers or meant...
No.
Can you please explain
The
that?
Wanderers are a different group of entities altogether that may touch in now and then to different civilizations, remaining relatively loosely connected through their incarnations, simply as gatherers of information that aid and assist in a variety of projects, including the idea of contact, including the idea of the hybridization program, but they are not themselves the 6th hybrid race. Earth will be the 6th hybrid race, and you are in the process now of taking the hybridization that you already are and transforming it into something even more different. The Earth shall eventually become the 6th hybrid race, and once the Earth has created itself to be the 6th hybrid race, then all 6 hybrid races will again blend into a new form that will be the 7th hybrid race, unlike anything you have ever seen, unlike anything that has ever existed within creation, and it will be expressed in a very different way of interdimensionality that will be, well, I'll just put it in your old-fashioned terms, mind-blowing.
That's very cool. I mean, hot. It's very hot. We have young people here that have that term.
Yes,
Cool.
we understand.
Yes. So, am I interacting with any of these hybrid races? Am I
You
going to
are.
be working with them? In what way?
I cannot spill all your beans.
Perfect.
But you will find that you have some connection to the children to some degree that will be returned to your planet eventually, and take up residence in certain enclaves that will be safe places for them to acclimatize to your reality and allow your reality to get used to them as well.
Specific geographic locations?
Yes.
Exciting. Do they have anything to do with the chakra points of the Earth?
In some senses, you will find that the vibrations that exist in those vortices you call chakra points upon the Earth are that which will allow for certain balances to occur in the overall vibration of your planet that will allow for easier acclimatization of the hybrid children to your world. So it is involved, yes.
Great. Do I have any hybrid children?
You have a few.
Really? Can I know anything more about them?
You can.
What can I know?
Why not ask them?
I will. I will continue to. I have.
Allow yourself to go into now meditations. Understand that the beginning of this process we have initiated this day of your time will aid and assist in the acceleration of energy on your planet in a very specific frequency that will make it much easier for all of you when you go into the proper state that is representative of your excitement, of your balance, of your peace, to allow you to perceive and receive and experience greater forms of contact between the hybrid children, between other civilizations and yourself. This declaration's vibration is specifically tuned to be capable of increasing your ability to be a receiving antenna for the particular frequencies that are germane to the idea of contact in all its forms. So, take advantage of that. Ride that wave. Be in that state. Even reading the declaration to yourself, going into a meditative state after reading it will put you at the proper frequency domain to receive more communication, more understanding, and more awareness of all the different phases that are involved in contact. Yes?
Thank you for that
Yes.
permission slip.
Yes.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
Thank you. I have a few questions.
Yes.
The first one is about abductions
Yes.
and
Encounters.
encounters. Yes. I've been told that in the past, when abductions, encounters were going on, that there's a certain memory loss
Yes.
for people.
Yes.
I feel like it's happened to me.
Yes.
Could you confirm that?
Yes.
Okay. I feel
Understand that there is a purpose, well, multiple purposes to the memory loss.
okay.
One, again, is so that it doesn't interfere or intervene with your daily life.
Mhm.
You understand?
Mhm.
Because it's important that you simply continue along the path you chose to continue on. Not that that's not part of the path, but
Right.
it is of a different nature than some of the challenges you have chosen to experience in life. And those challenges must not, in a sense, be intervened with in a certain way. Number two, many of you have had different kinds of contact already, but you don't remember. The rate at which you do remember, either through dreams or memories or however you remember, is actually used as a barometer by us and other beings to determine when you're ready for more contact. Because by remembering the contact you've already had, it means you're integrating. And by integrating, you're raising your frequency. And by raising your frequency, you become ready and more compatible for more contact in a more blatant way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
And so, yes, you have
And-
experienced these things.
Yes, and in the past, I feel that it may have been somewhat traumatic or
Yes.
difficult.
Yes.
What is your advice as to how to,
Unconditional love.
yeah.
Understand also that you can have compassion for what is happening. I am not in any way, shape, or form excusing the methodologies that may have been used, because you must understand that by being a mutated race of humans from a parallel Earth, they had in many ways engineered emotions out of their being. They simply couldn't relate to you. You understand? They
Right.
don't understand, at least not then. They do now, but not then. Didn't understand the idea of the fear reaction. Because remember, the agreements to have these experiences are made on different levels. They're aware of these agreements, but they no longer could relate to the idea of the fear-based emotional reaction to fulfilling the agreement.
Right.
They simply saw it as a necessity and couldn't really understand why all the fuss. because you had made an agreement not only to help their society regenerate, but also to take advantage of what would ultimately help your society not go down the same path they went down.
Mm-hmm.
So since they understood the benefits of all this, again, it was a little bit at a loss for them to understand why people on your planet were kicking up such a fuss over those experiences. Now, again, this is not an excuse of their behavior, because it is their duty to also evolve and understand what it is they are doing and how to relate more smoothly to the people that they are interacting with on your planet, which, through the creation of the hybrid beings such as ourselves, they are now doing, because in a sense we are all that is left. In our reality, there are no more grays. There are only hybrids. Does that make sense?
Yes.
There are 5 hybrid races. At this point, we are engaged in assisting your planet in becoming the 6th hybrid race. Ultimately, all 6 will join in a certain fashion to become the 7th hybrid race, which will be a being that is unlike any other being that has ever existed in creation experientially.
Are the hybrids all hybrids of Zeta or Greys? Or they're...
Different factions of Greys and other things, yes.
Okay.
And it depends upon exactly what faction you're talking about, because there are mixtures of many other things in different forms of hybrids. But generally speaking, yes. In the most general sense. And so, by knowing through your compassion that they are simply attempting to perpetuate their species, and that you have agreed from a higher level to help them do that, and also help the Earth go through its transformation, utilizing the benefits of the hybridization program, by having that perspective in mind, you can ask from a place of centeredness and compassion. You can ask and offer more assistance more consciously, participate with more awareness, knowing that you can be in control and are in control, and that things can go in a way that you prefer. You can ask for that. It's your right. And
Cool.
they will respond that way.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Do I have hybrid children?
Yes.
How many?
37.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
So glad to talk to you today.
And you as well. But remember, today you are speaking to us.
Both of you, yes. Just to get something quickly out of the way, because last time I talked to you, you said to me that the next time we talked, I could ask you what our connection was specifically to Bashar. I don't know if the skull has something to say on that, but I wanted to know. I just wanted to know what my connection is to Bashar specifically.
You already know you are connected to the hybridization agenda, yes?
No.
You do now.
Yes.
You understand what we are referring to when we say that?
Yes.
So now that you know you are connected to it, what does that bring up within you?
Well, initially fear, but
Why?
just because of initial contacts I think I had made me very scared. But now
Yes.
I'm in a different spot. So
Yes.
yeah, it doesn't anymore.
All right. And so, what do you wish to do with that knowledge? How do you wish to apply that knowledge in your life?
Well, I would like to know specifically what star systems that means then.
Well, there are many connections that many of you have to different star systems for a variety of reasons that propel you through the theme that you chose to explore in this life. Most of you have connections to the Sirius energy star
Yes.
systems.
Yes.
Most of you have connections to the Lyran and Pleiadian star systems. Many of you have connections to the Orion ancient star systems. A lot of you also have connections to the Arcturus vibration. Many of you have connections, as we said, to different hybrid civilizations. Many of you have connections to different parallel reality versions of yourselves. I guess you could count that as other civilizations as well.
Uh-huh.
And the idea, of course, is that there are a few other kinds of civilizations and connections sprinkled into that we're not necessarily allowed to talk about yet,
Okay.
unless you open a door.
Unless I open it. Okay. So Acturius definitely rings a bell with me, and Sirius. Those are the
Yes.
two most main ones. So if, and there was, I remember a being with very angel-like, like most of them, very bright and light, with 3 very long fingers. Can you give me any information about that particular group?
No.
Oh, okay.
The human DNA is a blending of DNA from how many extraterrestrial races?
7.
Is that fairly normal relative to the other physiological beings in our solar system or galaxy?
Normal. No, it is not normal. There are circumstances in certain situations that may attract that experience. It is, in our experience, not necessarily normal. But of the civilizations that have attracted such an experience, it is an average number. Does that help differentiate the concept?
Yeah, to some degree, I do believe I understand that idea.
All right.
Who are the 7 extraterrestrial races? Is that something
You know one as Anunnaki. You know one as Grey, which we have explained is not exactly extraterrestrial. There are Sirius genes, Pleiadian genes. The rest?
Timing.
All right.
Something we will come to know.
Something you will come to know. In fact, one of the first things that the first group of extraterrestrial hybrid beings to make open contact with your civilization will tell you is your actual history.
And were these the beings that hovered over Phoenix in 1997 and
Yes.
the Phoenix Lights?
Yes.
Were they also recently over Phoenix in February of this year?
Yes.
And is the crop circle that was in Alton Barnes in June of this year related to their structure of their craft at all?
Partly.
Okay.
It was a combination creation. They were involved, but not the only ones by far.
Can you say who the other?
It is another hybrid race.
Okay.
Not us, but hybrids that represent a very close connection to many of you. In a sense, you could say it will be made up out of those beings that are more directly your children.
Most similar to us in
the sense of the hybridization program, most immediate to your time frame.
And that's why they perhaps will most likely be the first for us to have open contact with.
Because they are rejoining their families.
Why do they choose Phoenix as the site for their to be hovering over?
What does the phoenix symbolize?
Phoenix rising?
The rising from the ashes to a new life.
Okay.
You follow me?
Yes.
And it symbolizes eternity. Make sense?
The symbol.
Yes. All right.
As far as the hybridization agenda goes, Why is the hybridization agenda in our best interest?
Because it's part of Earth's evolutionary path that you've all chosen to become the sixth hybrid race, to advance yourself in a variety of ways that will open up access to the galaxies of the universe to you. This is the way you're improving yourself. This is the way you're reclaiming the genetics that the Anunnaki shut down within you when they created Homo sapiens. By injecting the idea of other genetics within yourself, you supersede what the Anunnaki did, overcome and overwhelm it, and expand your energy field to the high frequencies that will allow you to expand from the Earth into the galaxy.
Okay. And can you give us a permission slip to help us connect with our hybrid children?
Nature is always a wonderful permission slip because the hybrid children are very strongly aware of their connection to nature, which is why when they come to live among you, most of them will take names from nature: flowers, trees, river, rocks, mountains, so on and so forth. So the idea of allowing yourself to be out in nature, to be one with nature, to be as nature, will allow a stronger connection as a permission slip to the hybrid children, who are very familiar with their connection and expression as nature. Of course, as always, follow the formula.
But those that will be the first to make contact, many of them will actually be, as we said, some of the children that exist that were created that many of you are actually genetically connected to. And their vibration will be such that you will be able to handle it by the time the connection is made, because your frequency will be high enough. The children will then act like step-up transformers, that your relationship with them and the initial ones of the Yael and Shalanaya will be of such a vibration so as to act as a buffering mechanism and a step-up transformer to elevate your frequency to be ready to receive higher vibratory beings in time.
I see. And are there attributes or types of training that individuals can go through now that would make them more in a position to be beneficial?
Only the type of training that we have just discussed and always recommended, and that is acting on your highest passion to make sure that your vibration is as high as it possibly can be, so there will be no conflict or resistance to the idea of meeting a vibration that is also on a high frequency domain.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. Thank you, Bashar.
Thank you. And yes, it is full of wonder.
Yesterday you spoke about the hybrid children coming down on Earth, and there will be colonies where they'll be interacting and coming out and interacting with everyone else. Now, I feel and I have seen myself on the ships visiting, like as they come down,
Yes.
I feel that we're going to go up.
There will be some exchanges, yes. Those exchanges now exist, but they exist in what you would call your dream state, your out-of-body state, your non-physical state, your transference state, in the template level reality. But as the hybrid children come down to the Earth, there will be opportunities for some of those exchanges, some of those visitations to be physicalized.
Yes, and I feel that very strongly.
So do we.
Is there a time period you could give us in that?
As we have said, most likely you will find that many of these things will begin to happen as we read the energy that exists now. The probability is, again, between your year of 2025 to 2033, that many of these things will unfold.
Okay.
After your year of 2015 and to 2017 will be the beginning of the understanding that such things might eventually come about. But You will find there still is required some degree of process and acceleration so that there is time given for certain things and situations and circumstances and structures on your planet to change sufficiently to allow for the higher probability of open contact to occur.
Okay, thank you.
But by the time your year of 2037 rolls around, you will finally be, as a society, the beginning stages of being an honorary member of the Association of Worlds. And in a sense, your training will begin in earnest. So that by your year of 2050 and 2100, you will be among the stars, doing work in similar fashions to what we do with other worlds. The first of which that you will, in that sense, interact with in the way that we interact now with you, will be a civilization that orbits around a star that you name Barnard's Star.
Oh,
You will be their UFOs.
wow.
They are now, in their technology, just emerging from and around the area that is similar to what you would call their Renaissance period.
Wow. Well, thank you for that information.
Yes.
And one last question. Why is the contact quartz crystal green? Maybe you've answered this already, but why?
It is specific to the vibration of the heart chakra because contact is from heart to heart.
Ah, okay. Well, thank you very much, Bashar. Ha'atu.
Ha'atu.
When the hybrid children are preparing for contact with humans,
Yes.
do they have some kind of virtual reality equipment that they practice on?
They do.
And
They are being, in that sense, trained in various scenarios to acclimate to the idea of your society. But at the same time, dialogues like this between us are also acclimating you to theirs.
nice.
So that you can, in a sense, meet halfway.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the most common mistakes that they make with humans?
There are many things that they experience in terms of understanding empathically what you are about to say and responding to it before you say it. So they are learning to wait until you say it.
Anything else?
Well, not many of them eat the same kind of things that you do.
What do they eat?
More along the lines of what you would call a vegetarian diet.
Mm-hmm.
Thus, then, the idea sometimes is that they will not completely have familiarity with many of the things that many humans ingest and will find, well, we do not mean to be impolite, they will find it repugnant. Thus, then, they may make some comments now and then about those kinds of things, but they are learning to be more polite.
Okay. And one last thing.
Yes.
When you say that someday we'll learn to communicate at a deeper level other than just, surface chat,
Yes.
how will that look?
It will be very, very quiet. As
Really?
it is on our world, because we are all telepathic, almost no one talks.
Oh.
So the idea is that you will say what is necessary when it is necessary, not before and not after. Because you will know what needs to be said. You will not guess. You will know.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes.
That's one small part of it, but that will be one, in a sense, of the ways you will know that you are communing on a deeper level, is that you will simply be to the point, exactly when you need to be, not a second before, but not a second later. And you will know what you need to say when you need to know it. Not a second before and not a second after.
Okay. Beautiful.
Thank
you.
Ha'atu Bashar.
And to you, Ha'atu.
I remember in the Esasani story, Holotup meditation, you spoke about the 6 hybrid races.
5.
5?
You being what's becoming the 6th.
Okay.
5 that already exist, 1 in transition.
Okay, thank you. 5, and over a period of 1,000 years, them coming together and creating a 7th hybrid race, a new race.
Yes.
Can you share with us those 5 hybrid races and the events that will take place over the 1,000 years, some of them, and a little bit about the 7th race?
We are, of course, one of the hybrid races. The beings we have referred to as the Shalanaya that call themselves the Yael, which will be the first hybrid race to make contact with your planet in terms of an open contact forum, are another one. There are 3 more worlds of hybrid beings. We are not allowed to discuss much about them at this time. The idea, of course, is that you are becoming the 6th hybrid being, species, planet in that sense, and it will be an admixture eventually of the humans you are now and the hybrids that will ultimately, as children, wind up on your planet, creating more and more and more of, in that sense, an interblending of DNA. Thus then, altogether eventually, over the course of the balancing of your world and the expressions of your world, over the next 1,000 years, you in a sense will be joining what we call the Association of Worlds, and you will also undertake your own interactions with other worlds, becoming their guides, becoming their UFOs. And in that sense, uplifting them in a certain way. And as you do this, and as you explore and adventure out into the stars with us, you will thus then, in joining with us, help create in a very specific way a new 7th hybrid race that is something that will exist in another dimensional plane altogether, that will be like the expression of an oversoul, in a sense, of all the other 6 hybrid races.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your expansion there.
All right.
I have heard that you emanate between 1% and 5%. April said that earlier today. And
We come through the channel with only about 1 to 5% of our energy so as not to blow the channel up.
Right. Now,
or you.
You're okay. And does that change through each person that comes and interacts with you? Or is that like an overall? It
does, as there is more and more integration also within the channel and more acclimatization of our energy in your world. The percentage will raise and raise and raise and raise. But you will find that when it becomes something in and around 10 to 11%, then will be the time when it will accelerate in a different way, in a different direction, and be expressed and reflected by more members of your society in such a way as to also allow for the idea of open contact to begin to take place. There may still be certain buffers that exist between us in those contacts at first, to again make sure that the acclimatization to the higher vibration is something that you can handle. But at least it will be sufficient for the idea of the beginning of contact in the way we have expressed it, once it reaches about that frame rate, shall we say.
Okay, thank you. And what percentage are you giving off right now?
3.5.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Enani, Nui Thafane, Ash-A, Nashakana, Iliaka, Demash, Demasha, Shiva, Nui Enani, Nui Thathani, Ash-A, Ne'eh Shakana, Ili Akar, Demashana, Shiva. Nui Enani, Nui Sathani, Ash-A, Ne'eh Shakana, Ili Akar, Demashana, Shiva. Ancestors and children of earth, ancestors and children of Sathani, meet as one in exalted light on the highest realms, reflecting all that is to each other in each other. Go forth. Go forth. Go forth. Our unconditional love and blessings to you. Allow your experience now to soften. Just sit for a moment. And know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you are unconditionally loved, now and forever. So be it.